Writing a personal narrative is what we're going to be doing in Module 1, Lesson 16. The journey begins, though, in Lesson 13, okay? This is where you really see the assignment like a description, okay? So this is going to be multiple paragraphs, 500 to 700 words. Your narrative should describe an event or experience that was important to you. Remember, your personal narrative will read like a story with you as the narrator. You're going to use first person point of view. So this is like a story about you and your family. So create a setting that is somewhere that you've been before, and develop a plot. That just means you need to have a beginning, middle, and end to your story, okay? Write with your conclusion in mind. So figure out, what the purpose is of telling your story. Think about, why you're telling us this story and how your ending is going to be. That way you can make sure that your whole paper kind of leads to that. So right here, make sure you have, your plot, dialogue. So whoever was there with you, think about what they told you and what you told them. That's going to make the story so much more exciting. Precise and vivid language. That's like using sensory language. Tell us what you saw that day, what you heard, what you smelled, what you felt, all of those different things. Events in chronological order. That is just like having beginning, middle, and end. Make sure that the way that you tell your story is how it actually happened. Like tell us what happened first, next, last, and that's going to be really helpful if you use those transition words. That's what they're talking about. Use transitions like first, next, last, things like that. So everything is organized around your main idea, like how you want the story to end. Use specific language so we completely understand like what happened. Like think about what's the best word to describe what happened, and use those type of words. Lesson 13 gives you lots of great papers to use to get organized, okay? Lots of things. So let me see. One of them is this little graphic organizer, and it just asks you, what's something that I've done before that I'm proud of? What's an experience that changed a strong opinion that I held, or something like that? Okay, what's an experience that you basically will always remember that could be like a good story? And then it also gives you this one. This paper is really helpful for knowing how to write your story, okay? And it tells you how you should develop your topic, what parts you need to have, but then it also walks you through each part of the story. That way you can make sure that you have all of that in your paper. One last document that I thought was really helpful for Module 13 was the model essay, okay? They show you how to use dialogue in your paper. They also are just giving you a good example of, different transitions, like plus this happened. Finally, this happened. Things like that. So the model essay is super helpful as well. When you move on to lesson 15, this is where you're really going to make sure that you have a draft, like a rough draft, okay? So basically, quickly just write down your story, get all your ideas out there, and then, go back and check it to see that you have all of the things that you're supposed to have based on, those planning documents. Make sure you have transition words, first, for example. All of these different things will be super helpful to make sure that you have written it in chronological order, that your events are clearly organized, different things like that. So when you're doing your draft, guys, you really want to look for, did I organize it? Did I use specific language? Does it lead to a certain conclusion that, tells everybody why I'm telling this story? Things like that. And this is important too. Am I using words like I, me, my? That means that you're writing in first person point of view, okay? So after you've written your draft, go back and edit and revise it. Make sure that it makes sense, that it has the right things, but it also, you've checked for spelling and grammar errors, okay? Looking in to our actual lesson, Module 1, Lesson 16, that's where you're going to turn it in, okay? So today you should complete your personal narrative essay. You're going to turn in your planning documents that you use, your rough draft, and your final draft, okay? Your rough draft can have somebody's, marks on it, like they're trying to help you correct your spelling, things like that. But your final draft should be perfect, okay? In the lesson, you need to go through the lesson. I also have some more helpful videos in here to help you finish up your paper with revising and editing. And then here is the assignment document and the rubric. I'm going to also add the helpful documents from Lesson 13 as well. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and let me know.